Welcome to MCs and MVPs. Today we're going to be talking about the Denver Broncos. We're going to be finishing up the AFC West. We're going to start off saying who they drafted.
Bo Nix, Jonah Ellis, Troy Franklin, Chris Abrams, Drain.
Drain or Drainee?
Yeah. Aldrich.
Yeah, Aldrich.
Estein.
Esteim or Estimi?
Okay. Devon Veen.
Vele.
Nick listen.
Aguilo.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I just be making shit up. I'm just adding accents to shit and seeing if it sound right.
That was tough. Up for departures. They had Russell Wilson, Jared Judy, Cam Fleming, Lloyd Cushenberry, Jonathan Harris, Mike Parcell, Josie, Jewel, Fabian Morin, how you say that?
Moreo.
Okay. Justin Simmons. And for who they signed/resign or traded, I guess.
I had the departures up twice. All right, for people they signed or re-signed, they got quarterback Zach Wilson, fullback Michael Burton, wide receiver Lil Jordan Humphrey, wide receiver Josh Reynolds, tight end Adam Trotman, offensive tackle Matt Pert, offensive guard Calvin Throckmorton, center Sam Mustafer, D-line Angelo Blackson, D-line John Franklin Myers, D-line Malcolm Roach, linebacker Cody Barton, linebacker Justin Strand. I just looked spelled wrong. Cornerback Levi Wallace, safety Brandon Jones, safety PJ Locke, and kicker Will Lutz.
Oh. Oh, Jody, what's your thoughts?
I think their biggest issues last year were an O-line that wasn't worth a damn, and having pocket passer Russell Wilson instead of combination Russell Wilson, who could not hit their receivers. They were not in the same, they weren't on the same page at all last year. So getting rid of Russ if you don't want to work with Russ makes sense. How much did they actually work with him? How much was he willing to work with them? I don't know. I didn't, heard all the rumors about he had a office to himself. He came in, didn't talk to nobody. What actually happened, I don't know, and I'm not here to speculate on it. But if they were just not cohesive as a unit, and that's your quarterback, it makes sense to go ahead and get rid of him. So that made sense, and the fact that you weren't. The thought was they bring in Russell, it turns the team around, and that just didn't happen. So get rid of Russell, get rid of Jerry Jeudy. From what I saw, I think Jerry Jeudy was probably still one of their best receivers, but he is getting up there in age. So if you feel like it's time to move on from him, I get it. Moving him down to regulate him to like a second or third option on a different team makes sense. But that O-line was just bad. So I don't see much movement for that, which that's my biggest They got a tackle guard and a center combo. So if that shapes up that O line versus putting a new, I haven't been high on Zach Wilson, but Zach Wilson has also been running for his life back there when he was on the Jets. But even on his best days, I don't think he was a very good quarterback. So I don't have very high hopes for them. It feels like they're throwing everything against the fan to see what sticks. So
Man, I'm a lot tired than I thought it was. Oh Lord. uh, this was Russell Wilson's what, second year with Denver?
I believe so.
I kind of blame this on the ownership, and then I say I blame it on Sean Payton too, because Sean Payton never won through him as his quarterback. And of course, we definitely, yeah, you're right. We definitely got to blame the offensive line, because the offensive line was not good at all. And then, of course, we also got to blame Russ. Russ was extra. A lot of bit extra.
Yeah, he was doing half the stuff they said he was doing from the media standpoint. He was actually doing. He was doing too much, start to finish.
So yeah, but yeah, the ownership overpaid for Russell. First of all, Jerry Jeudy is not getting up in age, but Jerry Jeudy is not a guy. He hasn't proven it. He just Courtland Sutherland, who is still on the team, was their best receiver out of the two. Jerry Jeudy's just fast. That's it. Another fast receiver. That's it.
Yep.
That's why he got traded to Cleveland. He was inconsistent. You remember the spat he had with Steve Smith when Steve Smith called him a jag, just another guy? And he got mad because Steve Smith called him a jag, in which Steve Smith, based off Steve Smith evaluation of the receivers or receiver, of him. He just saw he was just another, and he was right about him. That's the crazy thing about it. He was right. Just another guy.
Wait, he was right about him being just another guy. He was right about when he backtracked that.
So he didn't backtrack it.
Remember? He backtracked it, but Jerry Jeudy slapped his hand away basically when he backtracked. He said, "Well, fine, now you are just another guy." So
he's just another guy. Yeah, he's always been. I have not been impressed with Jerry Jeudy since he stepped in the NFL. Like, period.
No, I don't see him as a number one. Again, I was like seeing him as a relegated to a decent number two, number three. I get that.
I see that too, but yeah, but I just think he hasn't had the. Okay, so he got drafted with Henry Ruggs and CeeDee Lamb, and obviously we know what happened with Ruggs. His old stupid self decided to drink and drive and end up killing the girl and her dog. Unfortunately, he made that stupid decision, and now he's out of the NFL. CeeDee Lamb has had success in the NFL based off his stats. He's constantly got better and better and better each year. Jerry Jeudy, just another guy. Just another, he's been inconsistent throughout all 4 years, going to all 4 years. And he hasn't earned or deserved the big time paycheck, like even the basic starter pay, I would say, guys will get. But so Denver relieving themselves of him, I get it, because receivers are coming now. You're finding receivers in the mid to late rounds that are proving themselves to be very, very good and pro ready coming out of college, regardless of what school they went to. We seen Tank Dell light it up. Even though Nico Collins got a lot of praise, Tank Dell was the guy on that team. He was the guy. He's better than Nico Collins. Unfortunately, he got his leg broke late in the season. So they relieved themselves of him, and they drafted Bo Nix, and they drafted Bo Nix. This is the guy that Sean Payton has wanted all this time. This is the guy he really wanted. They did get better. Their defense was solid. Even though Russell so okay, let's backtrack. First year they had an incompetent head coach with a Super Bowl winning head coach. That sucks. So then they sucked. Their offensive line sucked. They traded away Von Miller and all this other stuff. They traded away Nick Chubb also to Miami. They cleaned the house. And then the following year, that guy gets fired. Russ has a clean slate again. Now he's with Sean Payton. Sean Payton really don't care for Russell. He don't care for Russell antics. He don't care for none of this stuff Russell is doing. He also don't bother to fix the doggone offensive line. I'm just saying, defense was okay. But the moment Russ started winning, you know what they say? Oh, it's a money issue. We want you to take a pay cut, allegedly, or whatever it was. They wanted him to take some type of cut. Russ said, no, I earned this money. You gave this money to me, and I'm not taking nothing. So we're going to bench you for the last 3 to 4 games, whichever amount it was. And I just think it's poor leadership on Sean Payton. It's poor leadership on the GM and on the owner, because Russ was actually cooking later in the year, last year. So, why?
Yeah, I get what you mean, because it truly felt like they weren't trying to work together to actually build something.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why I blame Sean Payton for a lot of this as well, because he wanted to get his guy. We're going to say his guy. Whomever his guy was, apparently his guy is Bo Nix. And we'll see how Bo Nix do behind a subpar offensive line. And with only one receiver in Cortland Sutton. I said Sutherland. Now I keep on saying Sutton, but Cortland Sutton. So,
and I mean they drafted 2 rookie wide receivers too. So, are you throwing them in the fire right from the jump? And you were talking about having Bo Nix. They got Zach Wilson. So is Zach Wilson your starter? We've already seen what Zach Wilson is behind the shitty O-line.
Well, I mean, dang. They definitely should compete.
You have to, because if you're not going to fix it, hopefully the people because they signed 3 O-linemen. If maybe you felt like, hey, maybe these 3 O-linemen can fix what we had. We got 2 that we liked. Here's 3 that, will fix the rest of it. If you don't fix that O-line, I don't think any of the rest of it matters. Because Bo Nix, I don't know how good he was in college. I don't know if he was a running gunning type of quarterback, but you would have to be, because your O-line is going to give you 1 to 2 seconds back there.
Man, it's gonna be interesting. I think they're tanking for next year, honestly, because no way here. I know they re-signed some guys on the offensive line, but man, listen, I'm just not so. I think it's a get rich, don't suck too much type of year. They want to be bad, but not be bad. Be bad, obviously, I guess, because I just don't see this team. I think their defense is going to be better Their defense is going to keep them in games, but I don't see this offense doing too much unless these offensive linemen just come up and then somehow, some way, they improve from what they were last year.
Yeah, well, it looks like it's going to be a completely new O-line. So if it's a completely new O-line, it really, at that point, you just don't know what you have until you find out what you have. And I don't think they have a built enough team to where one of those where you were like, oh, by week 5, you know what kind of team you have. I don't think you're the type to come back from a week 5 deficit. Like, you can't be going 0-5. I don't think you have the team to come back on that. Some people do. I don't think this is that team.
Nah, not at all. Right.
To be fair, most teams aren't that team, but I don't think they're definitely not built for that.
All right. Yeah, you got anything else? Because I don't know, just everything they've done over the last 2 years. Because we've only seen them in action. The 2 that they had with Russ. I really don't see this team doing much. I expect them to have a really good defense, but outside of that, their division is so stacked and top heavy, with the Chiefs being the head. Well, they're the head of the NFL, but definitely the head of this division. And then we don't know what John Harbaugh is going to bring to the table in his first year with the Chargers. And then we look at Oakland. Oakland improved on the second half of the year, but they also need a quarterback. They don't know who they have at quarterback. Gardner Minshew had a solid year last year with Indianapolis, but is Aiden O'Connell the younger, the better, the taller quarterback? Would you go with him, or do you stick with him? You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of questions, especially primarily on the offensive side of this ball team. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I think their defense is going to have to be trying to keep them in games.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's all I got. So
I feel like that was the strategy last year, and I don't think it worked out for them. So,
well, to be fair, it kind of did, because they took the ball out of Russ' hands and they start to run the ball and they start to win games. And then that's when they decide to tank by benching him for the last 3 games.
Fair enough.
You know, you can't have people, defensive player, come to your quarterback on the sideline yelling in his face like he crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah.
Yeah, it was a shit show. That's just what it was. It was a shit show, start to finish.
But yeah. All right. Until next time, we'll holler at y'all later. Peace.